We've talked with colleagues and friends who have lost relatives, and one of the tougher things for them to deal with was not being able to get close to them.
Yeah, since I feel like I have a little bit of knowledge about healthcare, like I just wanted to be involved, let alone just see her and touch her and hold her. I just wanted to, see that everything was being done right, or at least see the room, or just look at her face, and not being able to was so painful.
How are you holding up?
I think now that I'm seeing less COVID, or at least that we had like a lull these past maybe month and a half, I feel like that's given me a little bit of time to grieve and see that there could be a light at the end of the tunnel. Because what was most frustrating was losing my mom and then losing my patients, and then just seeing more patients get dumped on our unit and just thinking that the same would happen to them. Like the hardest part was just not feeling hopeful. But I think now that I see some people getting better, numbers going down, I feel like maybe we can get past this or through this. I'm having a hard time, but I'm still showing up.
I'm so grateful that you did.
Thank you.
Hey, there's one thing that I wanted to ask you about. I saw online that there was like a petition for PPE. Where are you now with that?
When the pandemic started, everyone I worked with was terrified because we saw what nurses were dealing with on the East Coast and internationally. And we saw our medical supplies dwindling, and we were afraid for our lives. We were afraid for our patients' lives. There was a lot of arguing, and just being mad and blaming. I had to take action and created this list of demands just based on what I was hearing from my colleagues. At the top of the list was asking for PPE and just demanding that Providence help make sure that we're safe so that we can fight and help our communities. Yeah, the idea just came from frustration and just wanting to do something and not wanting to argue, just wanting to kind of take a step towards a solution and just making sure our demands were heard, because sometimes there can be a disconnect between the ground troops and the people in the glass offices. And so I wanted to make sure that instead of just being upset that we don't have what we think we need, or that we anticipate a decline in supplies, or, we really wish we could shower before we go home, simple things that they may not even be aware of, I thought we should at least bring it to their attention. That's where the idea for the petition came. And what happened with it, it was sent to the CNO, who responded. And within a week, some of those demands were met. Within a week, we had showers, we had scrubs that we could change into. We were still reusing our PPE, but there were at least instructions on how to do it safely, or what the hospital felt like was safely. So yeah, I feel like it did make a change, or at least I'd like to think it did.
Do you still have that concern about PPE and about your safety?
Not in my department. I've heard that in other departments, there have been difficulties obtaining enough PPE because we're in the ICU and a lot of our procedures are aerosolized. We are considered to be at the highest risk. So we have equipment, enough that I feel safe with. We are no longer being asked to re-sterilize our masks. Our gowns are single use. We have better quality gowns now. So I do feel safer.
Is there anything else before we stop the recording?
Yeah, I just can't emphasize enough that I'm so grateful for her. Like, that was the best gift that she gave me, was just very clearly articulating what her wishes were and what she valued, what life meant to her. Not just her heart beating, but really what she valued.
Well, you stepped into my wheelhouse. At the Institute for Human Caring, we're all about not necessarily what's the matter with you, but what matters to you. Among the credits to your mom is that she was unfiltered in talking about that. They're painful discussions, but I think they're ones that need to be had, and they're probably better had before you're in a medical crisis. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Mike.